are doing it one more time on the Tubular Black Facts channel here on YouTube. There we go. Wondered why you were having a hard time seeing me, didn't you? All right. So we're here today and we're beginning a brand new a brand new series, which we're calling a Black Homecoming, in honor of homecoming this year here at Kent State University. And what we're going to start today with is we're going to start with a poem written on April 13th, 1985, and dedicated to Miss Maybelle Burke Early, one of the earliest known members of the Black Alumni Association at Kent State, and also one of the oldest known students, black students, to go to Kent State University. I believe she started at Kent in about 1924, and the university was only founded the college itself was only founded in 1910. So she came when this place was just in its infancy, just really getting started. And so this was a salute to our oldest known member by Kenyette Adrian Robinson. And Maybelle while she was here, she earned an elementary teacher's diploma, which I believe was a 2-year program. Maybe it might even have been a 1-year program, because they were trying to establish themselves as a teaching college. So they wanted to get as many teachers out there in the field as possible. So it's almost like they might have been giving them kind of like a crash course. And they had one for the one-room schoolhouses, and then the multi-room schools, also the larger schools in the cities. So she got a elementary teacher's diploma at Kent State Normal College. That's what they called teaching schools back then, in 1926. Then she got a Bachelor of Science in Education in 1937. So she got 2 degrees 11 years apart. So she probably got that second one, her bachelor's, while she was working. So here goes the poem here. As an early graduate of Kent State, you have inspired many, although we didn't know each other. In 1926 or 1937, we know one another now, and may continue to return home to KSU and inspire the upcoming yous and me's. Lead us on into eternity. Very simple poem written by Kenyette Adrian Robinson, who graduated from Kent on 3 occasions, in 76, 80, and 85. So she's got 3 different classes listed here: 76, 80, and 85. So thanks for your contribution, Kenyette. We've had this hanging on the wall here in the Crosby archives for quite some time, and we want to put it out there and share it with the rest of you all as you come in today being the first day of the homecoming weekend. We'll be out there on Saturday with the tailgating with the Black Alumni over at Dick Stadium. So if you get a chance, you're in the area, stop on by. It's free. Parking is free. And you can come on out. We'll be barbecuing and eating out in the parking lot. And we'll also be there with premium gifts for anybody who wants to make a donation to the Crosby Memorial Leadership Retreat Fund, which we are establishing today, as of today, to raise funds for a Crosby Memorial that we plan to host at Kent State University in February. Matter of fact, President's Day weekend, February 2022. So come on out, have a good time. You can catch the game as well. Nothing beats a good game. I believe Kent State will be playing Bowling Green today. So come on out and join in the fracas in the parking lot. Tailgating. That's right. This is something, a new tradition that has been established more or less recently. People have been going out there tailgating, but the Black alumni have really taken to this idea of tailgating. And so a lot of your old friends and KSU family will be out there doing it in the parking lot from 10 o'clock before the game, around about 10 o'clock or so, all the way into the evening. There'll be gatherings all over the area in Kent and in Stowe. So come on by. Meanwhile, we're going to start our new series with this book right here. And this book was also written by another Kent State alumna, a Kent State alumna who graduated in 1928 from Kent State University. And this, I have found, is a real jewel. Matter of fact, it's so much of a jewel that a teacher down in Canton, Ohio, where Norma Marceray is from, turned it into a play and put it on the road. Brought it to Kent, in fact. And she also has a book about her life and her experiences, particularly at Kent State University. So we're going to be reading through this book for the rest of the month. And it is a real page turner. If you want, you can try to find a copy online. I just got this copy here. We've had a copy here for a while, but I like to mark mine up with the yellow pen. And so I didn't want to mark up our archival copy with the yellow pen because we have it, it's all signed and everything. Norma Marceray is no longer with us, but she will be with us today here in the house in spirit. Matter of fact, I see here on this first chapter, she starts her story in the year 1926 when she graduated from high school, and Maybelle Burke Early was graduating from Kent State. So you see how these two are tied together. These early Kent State Black alumna. All right, so here we go. Here we go. On with the show. In the summer of 1926, after high school graduation, I worked for a time for my aunt Clayla in her dry cleaning and alterations shop. Aunt Clayla quit her job as cook for attorney and Mrs. Harry Freeze as soon as Grandma's house was paid for. My job was to mend and patch garments of all kinds. Buttons and snaps were added and removed. Seams were let out to make a tight garment roomier, and adult garments were made small enough for a child. This interesting creative job, for which my aunt paid me $6 a week, put to use my self-taught sewing skills, built upon the basics I had learned in the 7th grade. I took no sewing or home ec classes in high school. Mom reasoned that she and Grandma, with their 6 and 12 children respectively, had more sewing and cooking expertise than any unmarried school teacher. You go to school to be taught the things we mothers never had a chance to learn, Mom emphasized. My aunt's shop on Cherry Avenue between 8th and 9th Streets gave me the opportunity to become familiar with businesses I had never seen before. Everything a family needed could be supplied within a 2 or 3 block area. Daily, I passed a dry cleaning shop, 2 restaurants, a plumbing and heating store, coal yard, 2 billiard parlors, a barber shop, a hand laundry. Hand laundry. When they say hand, they mean hand. They don't mean a machine. Yeah, a hand laundry. A grocery and meat market, a wholesale produce company, 2 poultry stores, and a drugstore. Each establishment gave that small compressed area a distinctiveness not found in any other section of town. The businesses were operated by Germans, Italianos, Irish, Greeks, Jews, Negroes, Chinese, and people who tried hard to minimize their ethnicity and were just Americans. Next door to Aunt Clela's shop, a Mr. and Mrs. John Primer operated a family restaurant. They asked if I would wait tables for them during the busy dinner hour from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Before I could accept this job that would give me an additional income of $5 a week. You know, big money, right? My mom and aunt had to be assured that a responsible person would walk me out of the 9th Street and Cherry Avenue southeast area to the 5th Street and McKinley Avenue southwest neighborhood, a distance of 10 blocks. Safety, they believed, was assured once a pedestrian had passed through the business and red light district, which covered a 9 by 4 block area from East Tuscarawas to 9th and Cherry southeast. It also spread east and west into Walnut, Rex, Piedmont, and Savannah Avenues. Cherry Avenue, the main thoroughfare in the congested slum district, had a reputation as Little Chicago. It was rumored that murdered bodies were found almost every weekend on the streets, in freight yards, along the Pennsylvania Railroad tracks, in dark alleys and abandoned dwellings, victims of the Black Hand Gang. Whatever the rumors and however true or exaggerated the facts or fantasies, we were warned as children to stay off Cherry Street. Most of the first generation Europeans and the largest portion of Negroes lived in the areas immediately adjoining Cherry Avenue. We, with perhaps 20 other Negro families, were widely dispersed in the southwest area of Canton, a full mile away from Cherry Avenue. Keep in mind, that Black Hand Gang, I believe that's the same gang that attacked Malcolm X's father and eventually killed him on the railroad tracks up there in Lansing, East Lansing, Michigan. True to her promise that she knew someone who would escort me to the southwest section of town, Mrs. Primer introduced to Aunt Clela and me one of her regular dinner customers, saying, "I want you to meet a first-class gentleman. Percy Marceret, meet Norma Snipes and her aunt, Miss Evans." Mrs. Primer, a pleasingly plump, brown-skinned woman in her mid-30s, stood there with arms crossed over her bespattered cook's apron. The smile on her face gave the impression she had masterminded the impossible. "Pleased to meet you both," Percy smiled pleasantly. This marvelous cook here has served you, Mrs. Snipes, on a platter at all of my meals for the past 3 days. She's been telling me she needs you so badly as a waitress that unless I promise to escort you home, she won't let me eat here anymore. So I must eat and you must get home. Agreed? Then so be it. It's my pleasure. Can she start this evening? Mrs. Primer directed the question to my aunt. "I think so. I'll tell Norma's mother not to look for her until what time shall I say?" Aunt Clela asked. "I try to close the restaurant between 8:30 and 9 p.m., Mrs. Primer offered. "Then I'll tell her mother to expect her between 9 and 9:15, Aunt Clela agreed. "I promise you that Norma will always be home no later than 9:15, Percy said, assuring my aunt. Back in the shop, Aunt Cleela commented, Percy, is that his name? Seems like an honest, sincere young man. I'll tell your mom not to worry, that you will get home safely. My first thought as I was introduced to this very tall, very slender, and very dark man was, I'll never let you walk me all the way home. You might be nice, but you just too doggone dark. That was her first thought. Maybe not, Aunt Cleela, but I bet Mom might object to your darkness if she were to see you. What? My first thought as I was introduced to this is I will never walk you. You might be too dark. Maybe not Aunt Cleela, but I bet Mom might object to your darkness if she were to see you. Okay. As we left the restaurant that first evening, headed toward Southwest 5th Street and McKinley Park, I was terribly self-conscious. It was the first time I had ever walked the streets with a young man. I felt as if Percy and I were standing in a revolving display window and that the people passing by were looking, thinking, and commenting. Only the warm, star-studded July night, instead of a bright, sunlit day, made that first walk together bearable. When we reached McKinley Park, I turned facing Percy and volunteered, I can get home from here. I live just a few blocks down the street. I understood I was to walk you all the way home, right to your door. Percy tried to explain. Oh no, I said, just past those busy streets back there. Just past those busy streets back there. I'm not afraid now. I know all the people from here to home, and the lights are on in all of the houses. I could run up on anyone's porch if I thought I was being followed. Over there, I continued nervously, pointing to a large home on the corner of 5th and Wells, is the home of my Duber School principal, Mrs. Lena Ritterspaw. In the next block across the street lived the Ballards, the people from whom we bought our house. Further down, there is Miss McGeehan's home. She was the 5th grade teacher to all of my sisters and brothers. Just before I reached the B&O tracks, I passed Reverend and Mrs. Pemberton's house. Once across the tracks, I'm home safe. So do not worry about me. I will be all right. I am a very fast runner besides. There's nothing more for me to say then, except good night, Percy remarked, and we parted. This young man, Percy Alarin Marceret, really impressed me with his gentlemanly behavior. He appeared to be a quiet, reflective individual, but as we became better acquainted, I discovered he was a great conversationalist. By the time my vacation jobs between my Aunt Cleela's shop and Primer's restaurant came to an end, I had several reasons to feel good about that summer. On the evenings the restaurant closed early, I rather surreptitiously encouraged Percy to walk a route that covered every inch of Cherry Avenue from 9th Street south to 13th Street and from 9th Street north to East Tuscarora Street and the public square. I was eager to satisfy my curiosity about this forbidden section of town. Fearing no danger, I was beginning to thoroughly enjoy those extended jaunts, properly escorted down mysteriously evil streets. My walking companion was a gentleman of the highest order and so entertaining. He was as different from my father as day is from night. My pop's reticence had prevented him from speaking a single word on our 1-mile walk to my high school and to his hotel job. Percy and I communicated nicely. Oh my God, I have gone over my time. I didn't even realize I had got so deep off into the story that I lost all track of time. Well, I hope you're enjoying the first segment of this story. it is a long story. She wrote about 700 pages. I doubt we get through the whole entire book within the time period allotted, because we only have from now until Halloween. But we will get to hear quite a bit about what life was like for a young black college student in Kent, Ohio, back in the very, very, very early days of the 1920s and the 1930s. And that makes this book right here a real jewel. I only discovered it because I was in conversation with Dr. Dorsey, and he mentioned the book, and we already had it here in the archives. So these are the kind of treasures we have here in the archives. Our fundraiser, our fundraising events have a number of purposes. One of those is to establish the archives, but our current fundraising is specifically focused on the memorial to Dr. Crosby and leadership retreat that is coming up February 17th through the 20th, 2022. That's right, we got 3 2s in that one. So if you would like to donate, we're accepting all cash donations, and we're accepting donations using any card you want to use or any format you want to use online, on Facebook, or you can go to our website and make a donation over there as well. As always, this is the beginning of our donation period. We do this once a month. First week of the month, we always do this. So send those donations. Help us bring out more stories like this and poems and things that many of you have never seen nor heard of before. Some of you may have seen or heard of them, but many of you have not, because nobody has returned to read that poem I read earlier this as we started off. And I'm sure there are no audio book versions of Norma Marceret's book called The Fences Between. That's the name of the book. If you want to buy the book, purchase the book, you can find it on Amazon. It's called The Fences Between. I wouldn't wait too long to try to get it, though, because copies are limited. And if you wait too long, all that's going to be left are the $500 copies. So if you want a copy of the book for yourself, I'd go out ahead and make that purchase right now. While you got your credit card out, go ahead and make a donation to Black Facts as well. In the meanwhile, we'll be black tonight with stories especially designed for this month of October. Yes. So we'll surprise you with a new series that we're opening up this evening, 9 o'clock, Doc Ock, noon and 9, signing off. Be good. Matter of fact, be the best. Don't be like all the rest. And in the meanwhile, we're going to just give away a wave to Sledge Bay. We see you over there. And Babalal Tunde, Ifa Ponle. Give a shout out to both of y'all over there. And like I said, we'll be black tonight. Look for us at 9 o'clock. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing off.